In the 1980s, Disney was developing a brand new theme park ride system for a ride to replace Adventures Through Inner Space, leading to an eventual deal with George Lucas to create an attraction based on Star Tours. After purchasing some military pilot training simulator vehicles, it was decided that Star Tours would be created, adjusting the simulator system to become Star Speeders, taking guests on a journey through the Star Wars universe. When Star Tours opened at Disneyland on January 8, 1987, it was incredibly popular, partly because it was the first simulator attraction at a theme park, but also because it was the first attraction themed to Star Wars. As a result, the park stayed open for 60 hours straight to ensure guests could get on the ride. The opening of Star Tours would impact the theme park industry, with simulator attractions starting to open at multiple theme parks, such as Back to the Future, the ride at Universal Studios. However, Disney has continued to advance its simulator ride systems to create multiple ways for guests to experience these simulated experiences. So let's explore the advancement of Disney simulator attractions.
The attractions we're going to be putting in for 1986 is taking the principle of a simulator that pilots train in and adapting a show to it, and it's going to be extremely exciting.
Following the success of Star Tours, more versions of the attraction were fast-tracked, with Tokyo Disneyland and MGM Studios' version of Star Tours opening in 1989, and Disneyland Paris's in 1992 with the park. Also at Epcot, Body Wars opened on October 19, 1989, in the new Wonders of Life Pavilion, the park's first thrill ride, taking guests on a shrunken journey through the human body to explore how white blood cells heal a splinter in a finger. With the motion of the simulator and the on-screen video, more guests suffered from motion sickness on Body Wars compared to Star Tours. But it did allow Imagineers to work on a different version of a motion simulator than that of Star Tours, until it closed in 2007. In 2011, Star Tours at Hollywood Studios, Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland received an update called Star Tours The Adventure Continues, with Paris receiving the update in 2017, now allowing the attraction to alter which scenes guests experience, breaking the attraction into 3 segments and featuring planets from across the Star Wars universe and timeline. Whilst this version of a simulator attraction was proven reliable, Disney was planning on creating a more immersive version in the 1990s. Toontown Transit was going to be a simulator attraction added to MGM Studios in the early 1990s, themed to Roger Rabbit and taking guests through Toontown. What made this version more immersive was that it wasn't just a screen at the front of the simulator, but also on the sides to make the environment encompass the simulator. Whilst Toontown Transit was cancelled, the technology was still developed and used for the Tokyo Disney Sea attraction Storm Rider, which opened in 2001. As the name suggests, guests on the ride use the Storm Rider vehicles to enter storms in an attempt to dissipate the storm before it hits land. The attraction closed in 2016 and was replaced by Nemo and Friends Sea Rider, a Finding Nemo themed simulator taking guests on a journey through the ocean. Whilst the standard motion simulator was being used at Disney parks around the world in the 1990s, Disney was developing a new type of ride simulator for a ride based around flying. Originally envisioned as guests boarding on 3 different levels and moving on a rail in front of a screen, Soarin' was originally thought to be too expensive and complicated to build for Disney's California Adventure. However, Imagineer Mark Sumner used his old Erector toy model set to create a model for another way to create the ride system, with guests all boarding on one floor and then being lifted into a horizontal plane in front of a screen. When DCA opened on February 8, 2001, Soarin' was one of the few attractions guests had praise for, both for its new innovative ride system and for recreating the feeling of flight, later being recreated at Epcot, Shanghai Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, and updating the film every so often from its original California theme to the world and America. What's ironic is that the 3-floor boarding process would later be used for Animal Kingdom's flight simulator, Avatar Flight of Passage, which opened on May 27, 2017. Instead of boarding hand glides, guests sit on a motorbike-style ride vehicle and are lifted in front of a screen, simulating the feeling of riding a banshee after syncing up with an avatar Navi. The new version of a flight simulator received similar praise to the original Soaring, making it another innovative flight simulator. Disney's final simulator ride system was developed for Mission Space at Epcot. In order to recreate the G-forces astronauts experience when entering space, the simulator consists of 4 central centrifuges, with each containing 10 capsules that can spin and tilt during the ride's duration. Whilst fans blow air into guest faces in an attempt to combat motion sickness, and sick bags were provided, the attraction was deemed too nauseating shortly after the ride opened on August 15, 2003, leading to 2 of the centrifuges being adjusted into the green mission that removed the spinning motion, later updating the video in 2017 for Mission Space Green mission so it was based on Earth, whilst the capsules that continued to spin was the orange mission containing the original video to Mars. In both missions, guests are instructed to push various buttons, implying it would impact the overall experience, but this was just a facade. These interactive features would later be implemented in the creation of Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, with guests being given one of 3 different roles: pilots who control the motion of the simulator, gunners who can shoot at enemy crafts, and engineers who push buttons to fix the craft, and in an update in 2026 can choose the destination. After multiple years of teasing interactivity on Mission Space, guests can finally fly their own spacecraft in the Millennium Falcon. Disney's simulator technology has nearly come full circle, starting with a Star Wars themed simulator opening in 1987, and the most recent new simulator being Star Wars themed, opening in 2019. But this time you're flying it. Whilst the majority of Disney simulators are themed to flying, apart from Tokyo Disney Sea's Sea Rider, they offer something unique and usually state-of-the-art compared to other theme parks. But at what point will Disney struggle to run out of themes for their simulators? There are only so many space-themed simulators you can make after all. What do you think of Disney simulators? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the Distory channel.